Well, they're very unique. I'm going to start with the Carriage Section, which is kind of like, I always say, like centralized location to it to be. And maybe it's not. That's just my terminology. Which is right near Jackson Avenue and Mary Street and Adams Avenue. All
well, it's a central part of the ward.
Central part of the ward, yeah.
Sure.
Come together. And it's a unique area. And people there have their own way of doing things. And I hate to see that people become territorial, but that's the way it is. But all throughout the whole ward and through the city, too, very diverse. And same like North Elizabeth. Now in North Elizabeth, I think you up in that area you'll have predominantly mostly Hispanics and maybe some I would say Portuguese and some, but not a lot of black, but some there, maybe but some. But then you got switch over near 1 and 9 where the Carriage Section is a unique section of itself. And when I first ran, for first year I ran, I was talking to the neighbors in that area, and I thought maybe they would want to, and I knew they did a great job downtown with the Hope Sick Project. And I asked all the people there at the time, I had a big meeting, if they would want to see if they could redevelop this area, some similar to what we did down the Hope Sick Project. And they said, no, Councilman, we don't. I said, really? I said, so I backed off. I said, if they're pleased with it, so am I. But I just thought that since they did such a great job downtown with the Hope Sick Project, it would be able to implement the same thing there, but they didn't want it, so.
Yeah, well, the Curry Head section, as you know, was predominantly Irish at the turn of the century. Yeah. And there were African Americans and Irish mixed in through the years, and now Portuguese Americans, Hispanic Americans, and the ward has a great balance and a great flavor to it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Then if you move on the other side of the highway, down by where I live at, when I first purchased my home back in '72, I had a tenant as a Polish gentleman, he and his wife, and they stayed with me and my wife. I guess about 10 years until he got sick, and he had a serious heart attack, and his wife just couldn't no longer take care of him, and they moved out. But we had great time together. You know what I mean? The share with a Portuguese family, with the Portuguese American, and how their culture world, and talking to them, and the whole 9 yards. So it was a great event at that time, and it was wonderful.
Now you've done something, Councilman, that a lot of other councilmen have done, but it's something I never did though. Was you're doing annual events? You're doing a cookout, Christmas tree lightings.
Yeah.
This is new to the ward under your leadership.
Yeah. Well, what I did, Mayor, I felt that trying to give something back to the community. And one way is to have an annual cookout, and as much as I have other parks, but Jefferson Park, Kellogg Park is my two major parks in the ward. So what I decided to do is have a cookout where we gave food, pre-food, doesn't cost you anything, drinks, chips, put it on like a show for the kids. They will have pony rides, pet and zoo, face painting, the whole 9 yards. And doesn't cost you anything, just show up and just have a fun-filled day for everyone. And it was my way of giving back to the community. Last year, I had it in Jefferson Park. This year, we're going to have it in Kellogg Park. So if you're there listening to this program, please, ma'am, please, sir, pass the word around. We'll be back in Kellogg Park sometime in July, second week in July. We'll be having a fun-filled day.
And what kind of response do you get from the neighbors?
My first time I had one, and even to last year, we averaged from 1,500 to 2,000 people there during the course of a day. Because I purchased I guess about, I'm gonna say about 1,000 hot dogs, anywhere about 1,000 assorted of beef, and maybe another 500.
Yeah, but some of those boys and girls can eat like 10 of them.
Well, yeah, that's correct. But we try to monitor. I understand, but we try to monitor how many times they come back as best you can. Does other people come back and get one or two? Of course you do. But that's okay. But my thing is to make sure that whatever I have purchased, that is gone. I don't want to take anything back. And when I can see the excitement of a person or a kid in line and getting food to eat and enjoying himself, man, that makes my day.
Councilman, if you could stay with us, we're going to take a short break and then come back and talk more about the improvements in the Fifth Ward. For Councilman Bill Gallman, I'm Chris Bolwage. Please stay with us after these messages. Welcome back to our city, where I'm joined by the member of City Council from the Fifth Ward, Councilman William Gallman. Councilman Gallman, one of the things we were talking about during the break was the improvements going on in the Fifth Ward. And you've been an advocate for bonding issues for street repaving.
Yes.
Maybe you can talk a little about that. And I think City Council is also dealing with another issue as we speak.
Yeah. Well, let me just bring quickly, tell you what I encountered when I first got on City Council. Well, I'd like to go back and let people know what was taking place there and what had taken place up to date. When I first got on City Council, theoretically, nothing had been done for our street paving, nothing at all. But I was very aggressive to try to get our street paved, and we did. Put a plan together, and thanks to you and naturally John Papetti, whom I love, we have been aggressive in paving our street throughout the ward. And till today, we have paved literally every street in the Fifth Ward, and that's a great credit to you and your administration and John Papetti, and working along with me. And as a great improvement. However, not to do because of construction, new homes coming in, which is a great thing. New home coming in, built up. Naturally, when they cut the street open to connect to the sewer line, they don't often repay back correctly like they should be. So some of those streets, we're ready to start over again. Now, if you'd like me to name some of those streets that we're going to be possibly repaving, probably the second time around now, I can name those if you want me to do that.
You can give us a couple.
Okay, all right. Naturally, Anna Street, we're going to do from Anna Street, starting from 109 South all the way to Walnut Street. On Bond Street, we're going to do a couple in. On Bond Street, we're going to do from 109 South up to Catherine Street, excuse me, up to Jackson Avenue, sorry. And on the other end, from Division Street on Bond, we're going to do just a block. We're going to go from Division Street on Bond up to Henry Street. And then last but not least, we got a little section on New Point Road between South Park Street and Broadway. We're going to catch that section. And, it's just a generally starting all over again. And those are street right now by 4. It works. Oh, I forgot Florida Street. Florida Street we also going to do from 109 South to Catherine Street. So after that, we'll be really in good condition.
Councilman, one of the things you fought for and worked really closely with the Director of Recreation and others was the funding to restore Woodruff Park across the street from Engine 9, or sometimes it's known as the Battlefield Park.
Yes.
That was a rundown piece of cement for years, and
yes,
because of your efforts, it's open in green space.
Yeah. Let me just elaborate. When I first got in office also, like I said, it was run down, known as the Battlefield, and I did not know at the time that the true name was Woodruff Park. But I've come to know that as a true name. And we worked hard putting that together. And one of the things I always tell people in my block watch meeting is that thanks to Ella Hobson, she's no longer here now, but she would have Florida. She's doing okay. But she was instrumental in working with me, and we put the plan together. And it came out real nice with the decorated lights there, new path through there, and it's really, with the new trees in that area, with the lights there at night, a flagpole, and it really came out nice, and people really appreciate it. Then they add in the benches there, because we were fear it become too much of a hangout. So I always said, if you want to go to the park, do like we did years ago when we used to go to Wanaka Park, and at the time, you just carry just a blanket, picnic basket, lay your blanket on the ground, and have a nice day.
Bring a chair, sit there, and read a book.
Exactly, read a book.
Now, Kellogg Park, you mentioned earlier in the show. Well, last year the park received some new equipment that you're urging. Tell us why that is so important.
Yes.